Well, this is my first attempt at a review of an episode. The episode being My Little Pony Season 6, Episode 12, and I liked it. It had one small part that was kind of cringeworthy. Had a little hoof and mouth disease. Thankfully it was resolved and didn't go very far, but I never really kind of like these kind of scenes, like with Rarity, where you can see she's making a disaster, she's going in the wrong direction, but she'll fix it. But it does kind of cringe me a little bit, especially after the last episode with Rainbow Dash at the Academy, where there was that big hoof in the mouth disease there. Ironically, considering that one of the characters' name is that, where she just went too far to impress everyone, and you just saw she was going to screw up, but she would fix it in the end and everything would go well, but it just drives you up the wall. But this episode was definitely interesting. There's a few things I've noticed. There's going to be some spoilers if you haven't seen it, but then again, while you're watching a review of it. But when you fix the table, anybody else concerned about maybe it isn't fully fixed? It looks to be, but marks seem to be jumping around the table a lot. Unless this means that those were missions that they've missed and should have gone and done, but didn't do. Which then brings up the question of what kind of mission would require Twilight and Twilight. Does that mean she has to copy herself, or is just as Twilight herself, but then why not one Cutie Mark? And if these are missions that they've missed, will there be repercussions because they haven't done these missions? Or is it just setting itself up? But it's definitely something I wonder about. The other thing that was kind of interesting is, how did all the the waiters have the same Cutie Mark? Is that being established before? Was that just something like what happened with Glimmer, where she painted a Cutie Mark, so everybody had exactly the same Cutie Mark, because that's what the food critic wanted. And I will say about food critics, well, I think there is some good food out there. I think food critics do have a place. But I think sometimes people focus too much on food critics and not enough on just good food. And food critics aren't perfect. There was a study done a while ago when it came to wine tasters. The high-priced super wine tasters, a lot of them can't actually tell the difference between something bought at 7-Eleven and exquisite wine. It's more that they're told it's exquisite. I'm not saying some can't, but there's more to it. And I've heard about this, I don't know how true it is, but there's super tasters. And for some people, some food, if you don't have the right palate, you won't get all the flavors for it. Or you get the wrong flavors. Right, there's one spice, I believe it is, that if you don't have a good enough palate, all you get is a terrible taste with it. But there's a second taste that if you've got good enough palate, that is good. But it requires a certain level, and I think most people aren't going to have it, so why a place like these restaurants, maybe they've got the most impressive food, but they need the right tasting. But the average pony isn't going to have that, so, well, a food critic might like it. Most people aren't. I do think there's a little concern about just copying everyone. Everybody using the exact same type of food, and that's not going to work, I don't think. So I would like to hear your thoughts. Rate, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think of this idea of me doing a review, because I really liked it. I definitely put it as maybe a 7 or 8. I don't quite know what my scale was going to be yet. It's not perfect, but other than the cringe, it was pretty decent for me.